Welcome back to Community Matters. We've been learning about NC Arts in action, and now it's time to go into the classroom to experience it for ourselves. Enjoy the sights and sounds of NC Arts in action from Rashkis Elementary in Chapel Hill.
The right and left, I couldn't be good. I go. Raise the roof, raise the, and now we go. Raise the roof. Oh yeah.
Every class has its rituals. We always start with a warm-up, and we explain to the children that just like in any other physical activity, you need to warm up first. And then we start teaching them steps, sequences, which we call chapters.
Well, in this particular form of dance, it's really all about mastery of material that you can accomplish. So we teach basic movement, and what I really love most about it is some children are really shy and reserved, but this form of movement really brings out the best in each individual child. But the fundamental teaching techniques is the I go, you go model. So the teacher is the guide for the children, and what we do is we showcase material that they have to follow. So I go, and then they have to repeat it, and then once we see the children mastering the steps, we give them even bigger challenges.
The teaching that we do is based on a pedagogy method for teaching children that really emphasizes games. So that's how we are able to capture their imagination. We use steps that are rich with language. So it's not just, we're not going to just bounce to the right and bounce to the left, but we're going to wash the laundry, and therefore we have to really make sure that our dirty shirts are clean. So in using that imagery and that language helps children come out of their shells. We bring dance to a level that really makes sense to them. Every human being wants to move. I think that's why we have a brain, so that we can move. And that's the way the teaching pedagogy really is what helps us bring out the best in every child, regardless of physical abilities or talents or backgrounds.
Here's what we're looking for. A nice big step when I shake it. Who has the shiniest bracelet? Good luck.
Well, we wouldn't really call it criticism. We call it ways to improve or ways to get better. So some of our critiques may be a little playful. So if someone is not lifting their knees, we have something that's called Tin Man's disease. So the idea is to give them imagery. And so it's not necessarily to pick on what they're not doing, but we want them to be better at what they're doing. So Tin Man's disease, can you put oil in your knees to get your knees higher? So we find little playful ways to engage the students so that way it doesn't tear them down. We do things to uplift each other in arts in action.
And raise the roof. See how they're alternating? Let's see if you can do that. I know you can do that. Get set. Shoot her some positive vibes. You got this. Tui. Tui. Hiya. 5, 6. And here you go. And raise the roof. And raise the roof. Close. I love the effort. Try it. Slow motion as if we are under water. 5, 6, 7. Go. And raise the roof. And that's it. Yeah.
So we put together a game called Survivor Island, where every chapter represents an island, and the children get to do each chapter separately and then migrate to different islands where they get to perform or do the steps from that island. And in the end, they have been putting it together without realizing that they are actually rehearsing and learning through this way of engaging in game plays and engaging also their imagination.
The idea is that we're one unit working towards a common goal. So for example, the game that we set up, Survivor Island, we played elimination, but the idea was to get the sequencing. And so the dancers that were sitting out, they were still a part of it because we wanted them to encourage them. So as you notice, as the children began to be eliminated, you notice the other students who were sitting out, they started to say the steps for the other children. So it just brings the morale up for the entire group.
I think the most inspiring part of any class is to watch the actual growth of each child in the program. And even in 50 minutes, you can observe where children begin and by the end where they are. And this is important to them because the 4th grade is when children, we see them taking ownership of their own learning. They want to practice things, they want to put things into sequences, and they want to be challenged. So what I see is that they grow tremendously from the first minute of class until the end. And for them, realizing that they may not be perfect at what they're doing, but they can always strive for excellence.
It's basically like a program that has kids dance, and it's really fun.
It's a really good thing. It's healthy for your body, and it's really fun.
At the end, we're going to perform in front of all of our parents.
Will your parents see a totally changed person?
Yes.
Yeah, you like coming out of your shell a little bit with dance?
Yeah. I like watching other kids dance, and I've been in this before when I was younger, and it was really fun.
What's so cool about your instructors?
That they're patient with us and don't rush us to be the best. My favorite part is like when we get to move and all of the fun games that we get to play together.
If other kids are interested in NC Arts in Action, what would you tell them?
To just have fun and not to be nervous.
Awesome. And are you nervous anymore with dance?
No.
Well, that was a lot of fun. And we thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed today's show. And if you have any questions or would like to know more, visit our website at raleighcw.com and myrdctv.com. I'm Bill LeMay, and thank you for watching Community Matters, and we'll see you next week.